Hey guys, Danny here. Today I've got another drone review video for you. This drone was sent to me by GearBest for review. I actually also pledged for this drone on Kickstarter and it hasn't been a great experience so far, as many people from Kickstarter haven't actually received their drone yet, so very disappointing. Luckily I was offered a unit for review, so I thought I would take the opportunity just in case I don't get my drone from Kickstarter. So I'm going to be unboxing this now for you. You can see the drone here. It's a very compact size. Now what's impressive about this drone is it does use brushless motors. It has GPS as well as optical flow positioning. It also has a 8 megapixel camera which is adjustable, and it takes full HD video. So I'll be showing you all of this in my flight test, and I'll be showing you how well this all performs. It does also state that it has a 16-minute flight time, which for its size would be very impressive, so I do hope we can get a flight time around that. You can see the adjustable camera here. It does feel really nice and sturdy and not too flimsy. It does have quite a nice mechanism that this is mounted on, so that's pretty good there. You can also see the downward facing camera on the bottom of the drone, which is used for the optical flow positioning. This is really helpful at keeping the drone stable. I also really like the arm system that this drone uses. It's really compact. You're going to have no problem putting this in a rucksack, or if you're wearing jeans for example, you could put this into your pocket pretty easily. I actually forgot to take some footage of this, but the drone also has a micro SD slot which your video is saved to. If you don't have a micro SD inserted, it will save to your smartphone. And of course we have our battery, which is 970 milliamps per hour. It's quite a nice compact size and does give a decent flight time, which is pretty impressive. And of course we also get our charging equipment. We get a little USB cable and a little dock that the battery sits in while it's charging. And last but not least, we have our controller, which has quite an interesting design. The buttons on this and the feel of the analog sticks is pretty good. It feels of quite a solid design. What's also really interesting with this controller is the batteries are built in, which I do really like. So you just charge this up using a micro USB cable, so no fumbling around with batteries. It's pretty nice and simple. The phone holder for this drone is built into the controller. It simply pulls out the top of the controller. I do really like this design because you don't have to worry about carrying any extra pieces with you, and I think this will work for most of you unless you've got a pretty large phone. I have a Galaxy S7 Edge and it fitted fine. Now I'm going to talk you through one of the flight tests I did with this drone. I did conduct 2 separate flight tests, but this is just one of them. Now I've never felt like a drone has had so much more potential than this drone, but just underperforms in a few different areas. Now this drone really struggles in wind, and not in terms of its stability or its ability to hold its position, but in terms of its safety features and being overly aggressive at landing and throwing up errors when you're in this situation. So you can see it does perform quite well in terms of holding its position here. I have my hands off of the controls and it's fighting the wind really well and holding its position. But throughout my entire test, even on a situation where I flew the drone in very little wind, it was super aggressive at landing and returning to home, and it just really killed my experience of this drone. I feel like it has so much potential. I've never used a drone of this size that has such good battery life and as accurate as GPS positioning as this drone has. When it's working, it's great, but when it's not, of course it's not. And this drone was very 50-50. There was a few occasions where I was able to take it pretty high up and fly it further away from me, but any time I started to get any enjoyment out of this drone, it would land by itself. It would automatically return to home. Sometimes I was able to cancel this, sometimes I wasn't. Another YouTuber who seemed to have a lot of the same issues as me was J-Drone. He has quite a good video up where he shows his own flight test, and he has, as I say, a lot of the same issues I had with this drone. One of them that was really frustrating is whenever the drone automatically landed, the drone seemed to think that it had crashed because it landed in the grass, and then it seemed really difficult to actually start up the drone again. I was pressing loads of different button combinations, pressing the unlock motors button, but the drone just didn't seem to want to take off. And then most of the time, just by luck, I would press a series of buttons randomly and then the drone would allow me to take off. So this was also really annoying. If I didn't have these issues and the drone wasn't so aggressive at landing, this would probably be one of the best drones I've tested at this price point and of its size, but I'm not really able to say that because of these issues. If they're able to fix these issues, then I would have no problem recommending this drone. I have seen some other people flying the drone and haven't had these issues, so I would definitely recommend checking out some other reviews before you make a decision, but I can only tell you based off of my experience what it was like to use this drone, and it was just very hit and miss on how well it performed. The battery life was probably the most impressive part of this drone for me. I was getting close to the 16-minute flight time that is stated on the specifications. Also guys, I do want to apologize. I know the Wi-Fi FPV feed and my headcam footage is out of sync. This was really frustrating. I couldn't get them to match up in my video editor, so I'm going to try and fix this for my next video, so sorry about that. Let's take a look at the camera. First off, here are some photos, which I think the quality is pretty average, what you'd expect for this price point, but would have liked them to be a little bit better. The video is particularly disappointing. It's just a bit grainy and lacking quality. This is a bit of an overcast day, so I can give it some leeway there, but for an 8 megapixel camera that saves to an SD card, this is quite disappointing. I would have liked it to be a bit sharper and a bit of better image quality. The stability isn't too bad. It seems to handle the shake quite well, but other than that, this is pretty average for this price point. I can't really say too much about this camera. You'll have to sort of judge for yourself, but for me it definitely is a little bit disappointing. I really wanted this drone to be good and I really wanted to like it, but it's hard in its current state. It has great GPS, it has a great battery life, a great compact design, but it just doesn't perform very well in real world situations such as this one. Yes, you're not probably supposed to use this drone in high wind, but I've used several GPS drones and they've all performed better than this one. So if they can dial in the software and get this thing to not land so aggressively and constantly return to home and these other software issues that it's having, this drone would be great. So definitely keep an eye on this drone, see if they issue some updates to fix it. I really hope you enjoyed the video guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more videos like this one, and of course I will see you in the next one.